God damn, it's been a long time since I recorded one of these. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. We're back with another UFC video, my first UFC video since September the 9th. It's been a while, to say the least. At UFC 294, we're going to the Middle East, a card that I don't have to stay up till 2 in the morning for. Yay! I can sleep! Christ. But, anyways, in the main event, you have Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 2, the rematch of all rematches. The pound for pound number 1 versus the pound for pound number 3. Is John Jones the pound for pound number 1 now, or is it still Volkanovski? I'm assuming it's still Volkanovski. We're gonna assume that's Volkanovski. Another great fight, a co-main event, another pay-per-view seller. Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimeav. Shout out to Usman and Volkanovski for taking these fights on 10 days notice. I would have loved to seen Charles in a rematch with Islam and kind of save this rematch for UFC 300, where that's only 6 events away. And I'd rather see Usman fight Chimeav on a full camp, but goddamn, I'll take what I can get. This is still pretty damn awesome. But anyways, we're gonna get straight into it. UFC 294, live from the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, and these are my picks and predictions for UFC 294. You know how we do it here on the channel. We talk every single fight on the pay-per-view. I give you my picks for every fight on the pay-per-view, but I do want to say, great fight between Tim Elliott and Islam Makhachev on the first fight of the prelims. Definitely go watch that one. Probably it should be 2 of the top 10s at flyweight. I feel like that's going to be a great fight. I'll lean towards Tim Elliott, but that's going to be a great fight. But we're talking about Saeed Nurmagomedov and what's this guy's name again? Excuse me, Mayin Gafurov. I was looking at some of the stats earlier. It seems like Gafurov seems to be more of a striker kind of guy, and Saeed Nurmagomedov, it's a Nurmagomedov from Dagestan. I think that explains itself. But anyways, I'm going to take Saeed Nurmagomedov in this fight. I think that's pretty bog standard. I think pretty well everybody's going to be taking Saeed Nurmagomedov. I mean, I definitely see this fight going to the distance. I don't see Saeed knocking Gafurov out or submitting him. I feel like Gafurov could be a challenge for Nurmagomedov at some points. I don't know about how he is on the ground, but we'll see. But maybe the Kazakhstani, he has a trick or two up his sleeve for Nurmagomedov. Only one way to find out, but I'm going to take the safe pick, and I'll take Saeed Nurmagomedov by decision in this one. In the next fight on the pay-per-view, you have Ikram Askarov, the guy who was supposed to fight Paulo Costa back in July. I think it's Ikram Askarov. I'll go with that. Versus Warley Alves of Brazil. Now, Askarov, man, I'm terrible, has only had one fight in the UFC. It was against Phil Hawes on May 6th. He won that by decision? Let me double check. No, he won by TKO in the first round. So, kid's good. No shadow of a doubt, kid's good. He's a European and World Sambo champion from the past. The kid is obviously very talented. And to put it straightforward to you, Warley Alves has not won a fight since 2021. Maybe he could present some good challenges in the jiu-jitsu game, but it's another homecoming for one of these Muslim Russians, man. So give me Ikram Askarov by, I'm gonna say, a second round TKO. I think it'll go at least till the end of the first round, but I definitely see Askarov winning this fight. So give me Askarov by second round TKO. Oh my god, how do I not hear more people talking about this fight? This is insane. Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. What a fight! I mean, on paper, you'd probably say Ankalaev's gonna win, but like, good god, this could be a striking matchup for the ages. I feel like, looking at these guys at face value, I think if it goes to the ground, I would probably put my money on Ankalaev being the better grappler, but my god, I feel like Ankalaev has like a traditional power style of stand-up and boxing, but when you look at Johnny Walker, someone who could hit you with a flying elbow from like 30 feet away, or a flying front kick, or a flying knee, anything along those lines, is pretty damn insane. You look at their stats, Johnny Walker actually has 100% takedown accuracy. I'm not sure who he's taken down, but for Johnny Walker has won 76% of his fights by TKO or KO/TKO. Magomed Ankalaev has won 56 of his fights by KO, 56% of his fights by KO. Johnny Walker actually has 10% of his wins by submission. Okay, Ankalaev's gone the distance more, but yeah, no, I think this is a really, really good fight at light heavyweight, and chances are the winner of that fight will probably be next in line for the winner of Yuri and Pereira. So, oh man, that's a really damn good fight. What's really surprising to me is Johnny Walker is 6 inches in height. I mean, I knew Ankalaev's a big boy, but Johnny Walker's a big boy. God damn. Yeah, Johnny Walker will have a 7-inch reach advantage too. Johnny Walker definitely has some advantages in this fight, but when I look at this fight, and I think about these two athletes in particular, Magomed Ankalaev is just a beast. Every time I've watched this guy fight, even in the Blachowicz fight, I'm still thinking to myself, God damn, this guy is a beast. And I think he's going to show that again in this fight. But there's a lot of physical disadvantages, but he's it's another one of those backyard boys, the Russians in the Middle East, so it's going to be his side of the world too. Long travel over for Johnny Walker, but I'm going to say this is a back and forth brawl, but Magomed Ankalaev wins this fight, and I'm going to say he takes a decision. I'll play it safe on that one. I think this is probably going to be fight of the night. Out of all the fights I've seen on here, this fight will probably end up getting fight of the night. I'll go with Magomed Ankalaev by decision, but my god, that's going to be a really damn good fight. Oh my lord. God damn, this card is just one of those cards where it's like the higher up you get on the card, the more insane the fights get. But now, we have the former welterweight champion versus the scariest welterweight and middleweight you can probably ever face. Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, versus Khamzat Chimeav. And what makes this fight really interesting to me is it's at 185 pounds. Usman, he's coming off the 2 losses to Edwards, but that's also a bad... 170 is a hard weight cut for Usman. I don't think people get how hard of a cut that could be for someone as big as Kamaru Usman. And he said he's been wanting to move up to middleweight for a while, but he doesn't want to disturb Adesanya. Sean Strickland is now the champion at 185. That still sounds so crazy to say. Sean Strickland, of all people, is the 185-pound champion. Oh my god. But Usman, his first fight at 185, picks the boogeyman, Khamzat Chimeav. We have not seen Chimeav in the octagon since he fought Kevin Holland. That was a while ago. And that before that, it was Gilbert Burns. Yeah, it's been... And then the Li Jingliang fight where he basically had like a year and a half off, wasn't it? Yeah, because his last fight before Li Jingliang was Gerald Meerschaert, and that was like a year after. So, man, this is definitely Khamzat Chimaev's hardest fight to date. And Kamaru Usman, like... It's a short notice fight for Usman too. That's what makes it tricky. Because I think Usman, especially at 185, could probably go and ragdoll all of these guys grappling. Usman's just that kind of freak of nature athlete. The same with Khamzat Chimeav. Whereas Usman's a more like safe and controlled athlete, Khamzat Chimeav could keep that crazy swinging cardio and like running the whole time, chasing after you, taking you down. He could do that the whole fight too, and that's what makes it so interesting. It's like it's fast and methodical, or slow and methodical versus chaos and speed. So when those two meet in the middle, which one's going to prevail? Which one's going to not prevail? It's a tough one, man. It really is a tough one. There's one factor that really comes into this fight for me. Is how are Kamaru Usman's knees? Because I remember hearing before the Leon trilogy. It's still crazy to think that was a trilogy, but I remember hearing before that fight that Usman was like he couldn't walk on the sidewalk. Like he had to walk on the grass because his knees were that bad. So it's like, I know he took some time off after the Leon trilogy, so has his legs gotten better? Has his knees gotten better? Like, what's the scoop on that for Kamaru Usman? If his knees are that bad, it really makes me wonder how he can run to the octagon and all that stuff like he does. But Khamzat Chimeav, beast versus proven beast. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to take Khamzat Chimeav to win a decision this fight. It's one of those fights where your head tells you Usman, and your gut tells you Chimeav. My gut is telling me Khamzat Chimeav in this fight. He's a minus 630 favorite in this fight, too. Oh my god. But, yeah, I'm leaning towards Khamzat Chimeav. I think he can get it done, and I think Khamzat will take a decision against Kamaru Usman. Crazy. I can't believe I just said Chimaev's gonna beat Usman. Wow. And now, your main event of the evening. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Oh, baby, baby. The pound for pound number 1 versus the pound for pound number 3. You know you are a badass when you're the pound for pound number 1 and you are stepping up on 10 days notice to fight someone who's already beaten you in their home turf, a weight class above, as the champion. Fair play, Alexander Volkanovski. Fair play. But this fight in particular, before I should have done this video, I should have went back and watched my predictions for Volkanovski and Makhachev 1 when they were in Australia. This fight's in Abu Dhabi. We're on Islam's turf this time. Volk's taking it on short notice, and I seen a stat on ESPN MMA yesterday that Volkanovski is, when he accepted the fight, he was 181, so he has to cut 26 pounds in 10 days. Oh my god. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. But I'm talking on about Alexander Volkanovski. Let's talk about Islam Makhachev. Probably the second coming of Habib. I think that's pretty well known at this point. But Islam, who's his last wins? You have the Charles fight, Volk, Charles, there's Bobby Green, Islam, when he gets in there, he's beating the who's who. And the only time we've ever seen Islam have any problems is against Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski, man, he looked great in there against Yair Rodriguez. Did he get him out of there in the 3rd round, was it? Let me double check that. Alexander Volkanovski, come on, let me check. Don't be a pain in the ass, computer. Yeah, it was the 3rd round, okay. And Volkanovski is also one of those guys who keeps in shape year-round. He doesn't stop training, so how does that show on fight night? That's a different story to be told, but looking back at that first fight, Volkanovski, especially in the later rounds, it felt like the later the fight went, the more answers Volkanovski had for Makhachev. I've heard Makhachev had a bad weight cut in Australia. That's a very real possibility. Alexander Volkanovski, he's actually got a reach advantage on Islam. Whew. Man, I would have never guessed that, to be honest, but God, where was I going with that? Volkanovski's cardio. Volkanovski like, what I learned from the first fight is Volkanovski's got some amazing cardio, and he can, like, especially even on the ground, like, most people drown when these guys like Khabib and Islam are on top of them. Volkanovski was like, you got better than that in you, mate. Excuse my Australian, but oh my god, this is actually going to be a cracker of a fight. But man, the dominant 155 champ takes on the dominant 145 champ. Who's gonna win? It's tricky. It really is tricky, because does the short notice help or hurt Volkanovski? I feel like it'll hurt Islam in a mental way of like, okay, I'm taking on the guy who gave me problems, while, like, and a little short, stocky guy too. Whereas I was training for a long, well-rounded athlete who is, I think Charles is the same height or taller than Islam. I think maybe like an inch taller or something. I don't know, but there could be a lot. This fight's more of a mental twist to predict, but I'm going with my gut again, and my gut says Alexander Volkanovski. Yep, I said it. Alexander Volkanovski will beat Islam Makhachev, returning the favor. It's UFC in 2023, man. This year's an absolutely insane, and I would not be surprised one bit if this happens. I'm going to go with Alexander Volkanovski defeating Islam Makhachev by decision. This is going to be another one of those great fights for the ages, and I think it's only going to cement Alexander Volkanovski's greatness even more. But wow. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash the hell out of that like button. Leave a comment down below telling me who you think's gonna win at UFC 294. Live from the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Tune in, guys, because this is gonna be another cracker of a show. Take care. And until next time, guys, I will see you at UFC 295. Jones versus Stipe. Oh no, I have to watch Stipe fight John Jones. Come on, Stipe, you got this. I'm a Cleveland boy, for those who don't know. All my favorite teams are from Cleveland. So, Stipe is probably one of my favorite. It's my favorite fighter, if not top 3 favorite fighters of all time. So, that could be a rough one for me, I can't lie. Anyways, guys, see you at 295 if you only watch my UFC videos. But take care, and peace.